theginormous.com. Hope you're doing well today. It's Wednesday evening. It's about 6:45, and I actually, this is the second time I've recorded this video. I decided to do a video tonight, or a vlog as they call it, although I hate that word, because it's been an extremely long week at work. We're getting ready, as you probably have read, to set up a new business, and so we've been trying to get all the systems and support set up and all our documents in place and whatnot. And basically I've just been fighting technology all week long. Simple things like setting up email and user accounts and software systems and whatnot. I've completely messed it all up, and so I've been on the phone and on the internet with tech support pretty much since Friday non-stop. Last night I was up till about midnight with the Geek Squad of all people, so they could fix my computers for me. But it's all user error, I know that. I just don't know enough about how to fix it. And being a small business owner, you are also the tech person, so I gotta figure it all out. But funny thing was, I decided to do a video post tonight because I didn't feel like typing. I'm just really tired. I got a lot to do still, and as you can see, I've got my computers, plural, up, ready to go. And so I decided to do a video, and long story short, I recorded a 10-minute video and then messed it up online when I was trying to edit it. So it's just been one of those weeks, and so I may be rambling a little bit tonight, but you'll just have to bear with me because that's the way it is. But as promised, I wanted to post a little bit about my water fast that I did earlier this week. I decided to do a water fast basically because I had eaten too much over the Christmas holiday, and I've done a water fast a few times now. I did it first when I first started the plant-based or vegan diet over almost 7 months ago now. And I do it for several reasons. A lot of people want to know about it and think it's the craziest thing in the world. But first of all, the reasons why I do a water fast. Number one, it's biblical. Enough said, to be honest with you. But it is definitely a lot about fasting in the Bible. And if it says it in the Bible, I'm going to try to adhere to it. So that's one reason I do it. But there are a lot of physical and mental reasons that I do it as well. The primary reason that I do water fasting is mental. You think it'd be physical, but it's not. Basically what happens, and I learned this the first time I did it, is that my cravings or my hunger for food is primarily mental and not necessarily physical. So what I mean by that is we get used to eating all the time. So you get used to eating breakfast, and you get used to eating lunch, and you get used to eating dinner, and sometimes snacks. And there's nothing wrong with that, you gotta eat, but what I find is that for me, the first meal you skip, so for instance, say that I ate breakfast this morning and then it gets to be 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and you hear a lot of people say, and including myself, well, I'm starving, my stomach hurts, I'm starving, I haven't eaten lunch yet. And you start whining, and you start, I'm tired, I haven't eaten lunch today, oh my goodness. Well, what I've found is that, number one, we don't need near as much food as we typically consume. And I know you gotta hold on there because people are saying, well, Grant, you're just encouraging people to be anorexic and starve themselves. Well, that's definitely not the case. I don't think anybody should starve themselves. But look at me. I mean, I got plenty of meat on the bone, so to speak. So I'm not worried about starving myself, and I don't do it for weight loss. But the first time you skip a meal, especially during a fast, you're extremely hungry. And some of that is physical, and some of it is mental. The funny thing, though, is that as you keep going and you push past that, which in my mind, anytime you can resist a physical temptation, whatever it is, and push past it, it's very empowering. When you push past that, the next meal's not near as hard to skip, and the next meal after that's not near as hard to skip, and it keeps getting easier and easier. Of course, depending on how you were living before, as far as your eating and your exercise. But the weird thing is what it does for me is it gives me a mental and a physical, basically a reset. So not only does it allow me physically, it allows my body to cleanse itself of all the impurities that are involved with any bad food I've been eating, or any food period. It allows my body to rest from digestion. Your body spends a lot of energy digesting your food. So what it does is allow my cells to recover, allows my body to recover, and it also resets me mentally. To, number one, realize that I'm not that hungry. For whatever reason, my mind kind of spirals in terms of eating, and the more I eat, the more I want to eat. And it's like, you just keep on doing it and doing it. So for me, every once in a while, I just need to recharge that. And so it shows me that, okay, I'm not that hungry. I'm not going to starve to death. It's no big deal. And it also allows me to realize how much I need to be eating and what. So when I come back off of a water fast, the first thing you want to do is fill your face with food. Well, it's really the exact opposite of what you need to do. And I kind of found that out the hard way. It'll make you sick, but your stomach gets smaller, your stomach shrinks, you lose a few pounds, which is a nice side effect. But what happens is when you come and eat, it doesn't take near as much to fill you up, and you really end up craving really healthy, nutritious food. So it's kind of a win-win for me in all ways. The way I do it, the first time I started doing it, I did it as a straight 40-hour water fast. And I heard about this on the internet. There are all kinds of fasts and cleanses around there. You've probably heard, the main one people always talk about is the Master Cleanse, and that's the one where you mix up water and cayenne pepper and honey and lemon juice and I don't know, some other random stuff. But as I've said before, I'm a big fan of common sense, and that does not sound very commonsensical to me to be mixing up cayenne pepper and junk like that. So I don't do all that. I'm sure it'll clean you out, I'll tell you that, but I don't think it's that healthy, but who knows, I'm not a doctor or anything. What I want to do is something simple, so I literally drink nothing but lemon water, and maybe a little bit of black coffee just to trick my system into thinking this flavor. But I drink as much lemon water as possible. I drink hot, I drink cold. There's a few reasons I do lemon water. One is I want to hydrate myself as much as possible. We more often than not, are a little bit dehydrated. We may not think we are, but that's a lot of times the reason you get tired, things like that. We don't drink enough water. The fluids we do drink, you're throwing down a bunch of Diet Coke or whatever. It's a bunch of chemicals and a bunch of junk. And so your body really needs it. So during this time, I want to, number one, hydrate my body. It allows my systems to heal. It allows my cells to repair. And it also tricks my mind into thinking that I'm full. So what I do, well, number one, first of all, I got my Camelback this last week, Christmas. This thing's awesome. It's great for training, but when I was water fasting, I filled this guy up, 70 ounces, and you ask my wife, she'd think I was crazy, but I'd sit around here on the computer with my Camelback on, hydrating up. So it's a great way to do it. And when I was working, keep a big jug with a bunch of lemons and just keep filling it up with water and drink as much as possible. You go to the bathroom about 1,000,000 times, but it's good. You're flushing your body of those impurities. And also, you feel like you're full. So whenever I get a hunger pain or anything like that, which doesn't happen that often, you can just drink some water and it kind of takes that away. I will tell you, the first time I ever fasted, it was extremely difficult. The reason was, number one, I was so mentally hooked on food, but also, it's a physical withdrawal. When you're eating junky food and food that's not good for you, and you come off of that, your body is cleansing itself of those impurities. And the only thing I can compare it to is coming off of maybe a drug. You have intense headaches, intense nausea, lightheadedness, dizziness, things like that. And for the first, I fasted for 40 hours, but I had these symptoms as my body was coming off of these things for literally a week or two. And it was really terrible. And for a while, you're thinking, you're sick, you don't know what's going on. Your body is ridding itself of these things. And once you get past that stage, which is pretty horrible, you look back, and I look back and think, how in the world was I living like I was? Basically, it's almost like, if I could compare it to anything, it would be that I was living at about 60% all the time. So even when you think you're feeling good, you're really not. And you can't understand that until you feel as good as you can when you're eating completely clean and hydrated and things like that. So those are all the above the reasons I do it. Do it if you want to, don't. It's a great thing to kind of get your system recharged. The longest I've ever gone, and not that long to be honest with you, 50-something hours. I always say I'm going to try to stretch it out, maybe do a week. I know people that have done 14 days or even longer. The biggest reason I broke this one was, number one, yeah, I was hungry, I wanted to eat. I was kind of craving some Greek food, little hummus, little salads and things like that. And I had a bad day. When I have a bad day, I typically tend to eat. And so rather than binge on some bad food, I went ahead and broke my fast after 48 hours and had a nice healthy dinner. But also I'm looking forward to getting back to training. I got on my new gear. It's cold outside. I'm ready to go on a run here in a little while, try to get kicked back up and get training. So that's kind of what I do. And I plan on doing it every couple of months, but I just want to let you know why and how and everything like that. And that's it. So if you have any questions or concerns or whatever, like I said, I'm not a doctor. Talk to your doctor, blah, 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 everything like that. I just want to tell you what works for me, and that is what works for me. So I appreciate your time. Hopefully this video I will not screw up as I'm trying to edit it, and there won't be any music on it tonight because I'm lazy and I'm tired, and I'm just being honest with you. But I hope you're having a great week. I hope you're getting ready for the new year, starting to think about some resolutions and whatnot, and we'll talk about that. I've been quoting a lot tonight. We'll talk about that later on this week because I have some very, very forceful opinions about that. But don't eat too much this week. Don't drink too much this weekend. The last thing you want to do is kind of ruin your new year by being all hungover and regretful about the way you acted on New Year's Eve. So I'm boring and old. I'll probably be laying on the couch. But have a great week. Get ready for the new year. It's going to be a great year in 2012. You just want to always think about being better than you were the day before, and that includes next year. So hope you're doing well. As always, send comments and emails. I really appreciate those. I like answering those, so bug me with anything you want to. Online, DeaconNorman.com, and on Twitter, DeaconNorman. Yeah, have a great night.